So John,
Sure.
we start. You know how we start this, right?
We gotta clap.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
All right, ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Talking Stone podcast. I'm joined again by
John Silk.
And of course, myself, Scott. And today we're talking about adversity. And I want to get to know John a little bit better, and we want to hear about his life story, where he comes from, what he does, and you get to hear about mine too. But before we get into all that, I just want to say, let's talk about our rose, bud, and thorn.
I definitely have to say my rose this week is getting to go home and have a Thanksgiving dinner with my family.
I'm very excited for Thanksgiving. For people at home, we're recording this during just before Thanksgiving break.
The week before.
The week of Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And also, for the people who are joining us a little late, before we just dive right into it, we actually recorded an episode before this, so we're kind of in like go mode right now. But we're doing a rose, bud, and a thorn. A rose is basically something good that happened to you this weekend. Bud is something you're looking forward to, and the thorn is something bad. So continue. Your rose is Thanksgiving.
Definitely being able to drive home, see my family.
Is that more of a bud? Because you didn't drive home.
That's also true. My rose is it's pretty early in the week, so it's only Monday, week of Thanksgiving. So my rose this week, I went to McDonald's last night with a group of friends. It was really fun. We were driving around my friend's BMW. He tricked out. It's in the shop today because he pushed it a little too hard last night. But that was a lot of fun. I was out probably till about 1 a.m. But it's one of those college nights that you're ready. It's worth staying up for. We really enjoy that.
We love those college nights.
My bud definitely then driving home. Seeing my family, getting to do all that. My thorn so far has been any work I have to do this week is definitely just a drag that I have to worry about traveling home, as well as taking care of the work that I do.
So your rose is the drag racing.
I don't know if it was drag racing. I'm just saying there was another car and his car, and there was a lot of fun. I was in his car. We won. Anyway, we went into Mickey D's, and it was good. Got the 10 count.
All right. So what about your thorn?
Thorn definitely is the work, though. Yeah, like I just said.
Okay.
That, yeah.
My brain was not locked in.
I was saying that the work this week, anything to catch up before. So what about yours?
My rose actually is, once again, being here in this room. I know I say that a lot, but it's just such a special opportunity I have and that I get to give to people at home. And I'm honored that I get to do this. My thorn, that might be a little hard this week.
It's been a good week. I suppose my thorn would be, last week we're supposed to record this over the weekend. Today's the Monday of Thanksgiving week,
and I forgot to rent the equipment. That's completely my fault. But we adapt,
The struggle to getting the equipment to today.
That was annoying too.
That's a thorn.
I don't know what happened. For whatever reason, it was denying my account. But again, like I said in the episode, I don't remember which one. There's no such thing as no, just no, not that way. So you just need to keep adapting. I think I said that on the disappointment episode.
Yep.
Along with that, my bud is going to New York City for Thanksgiving. And not just that, I'm flying into a blizzard, apparently. That's what my parents keep telling me. I love snow. Winter's my favorite holiday.
Winter's your favorite holiday?
It is a holiday. The whole season.
Winter's my favorite holiday too. No, it's I'd say favorite holiday definitely fall for me.
Yeah.
You're gonna trip people out with that question.
I know.
No, but I did have the honor of talking to Scott behind the scenes, before this, and he was telling me, it's been a dream of his for a while to have his own podcast. It's definitely a big deal. So whenever he does say, it's his rose, and he says it a lot, he really means it. It's not something arbitrary to say, to show how much he's putting into it. It is something that he's been looking forward to doing, for a lot of his life. And
since high school, I've had this in the back of my brain, and here I am.
Yeah, this is something really exciting, and we're glad to have Scott here.
So to dive right into the topic at hand, John, the floor is yours. Tell us about yourself.
Right. So the story we want to cover today is about adversity, is the overarching topic. And my story with it would be, like shared experience would be the COVID-19 pandemic. Mine was especially difficult because in 8th grade, about November, maybe October-ish, depending on who you are. I can't remember exactly when this was, but I was admitted to the hospital near my house because in a freak accident during a football game, I was paralyzed from the neck down. I pinched a nerve. I was okay. I pinched a nerve, and it put me at great risk of, having other things happen to my body while I couldn't feel anything, because your brain can't feel anything. So your organs are like, what's going on? And your brain can't send messages to those. So that was a big concern for the doctors. But when I started getting semi-feeling back within the day or so, within 24 hours, I was still unable to walk for about a week. But that put me in great risk of a lot of things, which was a really scary thought, to think that I'm a kid. I'm 14 in 8th grade.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, but that's,
About that.
That's the age, 13, 14, you're in 8th grade. Your whole world collapses around you because you can't feel from your neck down.
I can't imagine the almost isolation of that. Ugh.
Within 6 months, the COVID pandemic hits and the lockdowns go into place. So while I'm recovering, getting, my physical strength back, because I lost a lot of physical strength, physical will too, my mental will as well, just was completely shattered to the degree that my pride was gone. Who made me was not there. It was really a loss of personality, and I had to build back from that. So having that incident, working on myself physically as I'm trying to train my body to remember how to walk, remember how to play football, which was a big love of mine. I love football. American, of course, not European. Or anywhere else. I don't know where else calls
everywhere
football.
except
Here.
America calls football.
Okay,
football.
We're the black sheep, but you know what? That's not a big deal because we're America. Anyway, to really stay on topic, it was building my physical strength back and trying to rebuild that personality. And that was my high school experience. Was my first 2 years were really isolated because I was at public school for my freshman year of high school. But that was completely online because of the lockdowns. And
no, don't get me started on the lockdowns. They were so.
You're from New York, weren't you?
Oh yeah. It became an authoritarian state in New York. It was like if you're outside, you could get arrested.
Without a mask. It's a death sentence without a mask in New York. I was never there in New York during the pandemic. I wish I could go to New York. I've only been once in my life. I hear it's great, Scott. Maybe because I have you, I might have an opportunity.
New York is not great.
I'll come visit you, buddy.
I despise living in New York. It is a terrible city between all the crime, the government overreach. It is not a great place to raise a family. And that's my end goal in life. I want to have kids. I want to have a wife. I want to raise a family. And I cannot do that in New York City. Maybe upstate, but not in New York City proper.
Yeah. But, that's just the idea is that freshman year, I was completely locked down. I was on isolated. Virtual learning is what they called it. I think distance learning is what the big word was being tossed around, that phrase, distance learning.
Long distance.
So my first semester, I went to a public high school completely virtually. And then, my parents, said the state of education was so bad, they actually took me out of the school system and they put me in homeschool. So I was completely alone. So further isolation from my personality being destroyed in that 8th grade era. And I could have fixed that. I could have, come back from that. But it was a lot more to add on the lockdowns and the isolation. This isn't really, too much part of my personal story, but my grandmother started, dying in my 2022. So she had cancer, and my other grandma that I never met on my mom's side, I never got to meet her because she died of cancer. And, it's really rough to know that I lost both my grandmas to cancer, but, we always put a smile on our faces and try to come back as best we can. And it was a lot to build my personality back, a lot to overcome, the loss of my grandmother. And the time that, we're finally coming out of the pandemic, things are starting to look up, and all of a sudden it comes right back, all that sorrow, that depression. People are feeling a lot of anxiety, and it just comes back in a wave, when you find out your grandmother's dying. It was a hard experience to go through.
I love my grandparents so much. Like me, my grandpa, he taught me how to make good pancakes. Like my mom taught me how to make pancakes first, and then I stole my grandpa's recipe. Stole, air quotes. He taught me it, and now I have pancake nights every now and again. You've been to them, and they're so good and fun. I love it. I do everything with him. Like in high school is when we got very close because he used to drive me back from school. Luckily, so it was very weird how my high school handled COVID. Junior year, so about a year into the pandemic, they let the Riken program kids, because we had smaller classrooms, come in a little earlier, but because we were smaller. But we weren't allowed to leave the classroom. We had to stay in one classroom the whole day. And school's about 4 hours. No, not 4 hours. 6 hours. I wish it was 4 hours. That would be nice.
That would be great, yeah.
School is like 6 hours, and we'd be in the same room for 6 hours, and that would be it. But the regular academy kids couldn't go to school. So I had a weird hybrid learning, that's what they called it, of some things were virtual and some things were not. And it was a lot of fun. But, well, not being in the pandemic, but it was great being back in school because the year before that, it was all on computers, and I just couldn't handle it.
The idea, so I wrote actually my college application essay about, how I rebuilt my personality, got my energy back, because I wasn't in a depressed state. I wasn't sad about anything, but my energy was low.
Okay.
I was a different person from who I was before my accident and through the COVID lockdown and then after my grandmother passed until I was after. So about 2024, the year we are in now, is probably when I fully regained what I feel like was my personality from before. I was just going to mention, we also did hybrid learning in Virginia as well at my high school. I never had this experience because I came in 2022, or was it 21? I think I came in 2021, and they had just stopped doing the, hybrid learning because they did that through 2020. Yeah, I joined 2021. They had just stopped it, so we were all full-time students. There were some kids that could opt to stay home. They had a virtual learning set up, so the classes were recorded. The stuff the teachers worked on could be sent home. It was a very systematic system and complicated. Props to the school systems that worked with that hybrid system to get that going, especially, when we were starting to reintroduce full-time, students in the classroom, because that's a big aspect of that. When we talk about this kind of stuff, when we talk about hybrid distance, kids being in the classroom with the professors that can show them how it's done isn't the same through watching it on a screen. You can look up a video on how to do, PEMDAS or a math equation or something like that. And it's just, you don't really...
You shouldn't be going to school to go to YouTube.
Pretty much is the idea. And you can find other ways around learning from online virtually. Now, I know a lot of the workforce now goes online, and that's how that works, but...
Well, I think it depends on the job.
And that kind of comes into, overcoming adversity. As soon as we're faced with these lockdowns, society mobilizes in a way that we never thought was possible. They moved jobs that were in person only to completely virtual companies. Like, of course, that was a thing before that were online, but people, didn't.
It wasn't very serious.
It wasn't very seriously taken.
Or practical.
Yeah. It was something that was very new to society, and we handled it like champs, I want to say. This happened in 2020. 4 years later on, companies are, granted, still, working on getting their companies virtual and how those systems work. But we are humans. We take the blows as they come. And as a society, I think we did great. This was something that was unprecedented to happen in the 21st century with all this technology. And with the amount of communication we had that went around, it was definitely great to see, though, as we're coming out of this, we are completely, we're in the green, coming out of the wild, I would say, I guess, coming out of the forest in the fog. To see what had changed, to be able to look back on this and see that, wow, we did that as a society. I got through high school through a time that was unprecedented. This is historic.
It is historic. It's a crazy, crazy time in our lives. And it's something I'm going to be talking to my kids about, and I'm going to talk to my grandkids about it. And, knock on wood, when the next one happens, it's not going to be as bad. Because unfortunately, we live in a world where disease is going to happen and people are going to get sick, and it's always going to be a thing. But I just feel like you need to be able to adapt with the punches, and I forgot what I was gonna say. This has never happened to me. This is a historic moment on the podcast where I lost my.
Welcome
train of
back to
thought.
the Talking Stone, guys. Scott's lost his words. I'm the new host. It's a crazy world. I just clapped. Is that okay?
It's okay.
Sweet. I don't know what's okay on these mics, and Scott, I don't want to make you upset.
You don't make me upset.
Do
I'm
I
happy
not?
to have you on.
Yay. Scott, will I be on the Talking Stone more often now?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Because I really do enjoy your presence here.
I like my odds.
So we talked a little briefly about the pandemic, and in the pandemic, the government and schools and everything else was trying to incorporate more support systems and stuff. So how does support systems help you get through adversity? What are some resources you can maybe use?
Resources you can use to overcome adversity.
Support systems.
Talking about like in education.
In anything, just a support system. What is a support system?
So obviously there's helplines for certain things, like prevention, there are hotlines to help people. I don't know a lot. I've never, really needed to know a hotline. I know the number of my local police force, fire station, and medical center. Mm-hmm. I don't think those are numbers many people know, but I know the actual numbers to call my local fire station, police station, and medical. To be like, I need help, or I have it on a card laminated somewhere on my desk at home. But there's just several support systems that you could virtually access. You could go to in person. A support system could be really anything, anyone.
My support system, for example, not to cut you off, is like my friends, my work. Honestly, I'm a workaholic. It's kind of like how I make the ship work.
It's not the only thing it's a holic on.
I'm a workaholic. I work hard. That's my thing. It keeps me going forward. Yeah, it's something I look forward to every time I'm in the edit bay. Every time I am doing an essay. Every time I am doing any kind of schoolwork, I look forward to those because I love getting stuff done. It's almost like an addiction. Like I need to move on and get more things done. I'm almost a machine when it comes to that. But that's a part of my support system that keeps me sane. Then I have my friends who
mindset too, definitely. And so there's a lot of that goes into your own support. Not to cut you off, right back at you, Scott. It's not to cut you off, but going into your own mental support system, like you having the right mindset to face a challenge that approaches you. We are humans. We are very adaptable creatures. And it's just the idea that we can't overcome something. This feels foreign to me.
You have to know how to eat a shit sandwich and smile. I said this also on the disappointment episode, I believe. Life is going to punch you in the balls. That's a fact. And you have to know how to be like, okay, how do I recover? How do I bounce back? Life is not easy. It's not meant to be easy. If it was easy, it'd suck. I think my meaning of life, I talk about this in the Meaning of Life episode too, which you guys should watch if you haven't watched, is to live life and all of its emotions. You need to feel everything you do. And those feelings are real, they're valid, but you also need to know how to keep going. It is essential to life. And without the negative emotions, without the bad feelings, without the bad stuff happening, your life would just become stagnant and sad. That's my 2 cents. We embrace failure because we have to embrace failure in order to keep moving. If you don't take those blows and don't take those, how do you handle that? How do you embrace failure?
So this was something that stuck with me for a long time. I'll come up to the mic. This is something that stuck with me for a long time. So I played a lot of flag football. Like I said, football is a big part of me. American. it's like you're asking for your cheese. What kind of cheese you want? American. So this story does remind me. Yeah, that topic reminds me of this story. In my league 4-5, so 4th grade and 5th grade, my team made it to the championship. We weren't supposed to. We were the 4th ranked seed. There were there were 3 seeds ahead of us. And we're like, the odds of us going to the championship aren't terribly low, but we weren't a terrific team that were people were watching out for to win. And the fact that we made it to the championships for my league was a very proud moment for me and my team. We were very excited to be there. And I was defense. I played a lot of defense. I was the rusher. There's 5 players on either side. There's 5 players on offense. And what was big here on defense is, 2 corners up on the front near the line of scrimmage and then 2 safeties in the back and 1 guy in the middle called the rusher, or he's just the middle safety. But I blitzed. That was my job, to get to the quarterback, pull his flag before he can throw the ball or hand it off. I was good at what I did that time, and I was very proud to be able to do that. And this is one of the last plays of the game. Quarterback hikes the ball. They're looking for a Hail Mary. My team is up. We are winning. They're looking for a miracle, and it's my job just to stop them. So they're going deep. All the players are running Hail Mary routes, and I get to the quarterback, and it's a dusty field. There's dirt and there's grass. The cleats are digging up the dust. It's a dry day out, so there's no mud for my cleats to grip in. I go for his flag. I miss. And knowing that I cost us the championship, he threw the ball and made the touchdown point to his team, and they won after that. I don't know if it was that play that lost me the game or lost us the game, but that always sticks in my mind. As I remember looking up, the dust being around me, and realizing I don't have a flag in my hands. I didn't do what I was supposed to. It's the idea of how do we get up and keep going from that was one of the harder things I struggled to learn as a kid. But I think definitely one of the ways that taught me that is, thinking about those memories of like, what am I going to do? Stay in the dirt, stay with the dust around me, get all, muddy and not get up? Or am I going to get up, brush myself off, and do it again until I get it right? It's that mentality of try again. It's keep going until you can't go anymore, because there is a sense of purpose in what you're doing. If you don't have that sense of purpose, what are you doing?
I feel like to embrace failure, you have to understand there's almost no such thing as failure. Almost. Now, of course, there's failing a thing you have to do. You fail a test, you fail a test.
Or something.
That's obviously, you failed. But when I say there's no such thing as failure, it's almost like, I'm not saying you have to succeed at all costs. It's how do you learn from your mistakes? When I make a mistake editing, if I make a mistake with my friends, if I make a mistake anywhere, what do I learn from that? And what I learn, I can then turn that failure into a future success. I can turn that failure into a new idea, a new thought, a new goal. I can be like, okay, this didn't work this time. I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it this way. And then now that failure was actually a stepping stone to future success.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you embrace failure. That's how I look at it. You can fail, but you need to also learn from it. Because if you're learning nothing from your failures and you're doing the same thing over and over again, we all know that's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big thing.
And I think people aren't taught that. Not in school, not by their parents, not by any sort of like overarching society.
Being able to get up. So there's also the generational ideas, like different generations have a different idea of what is failure, what is success. So and that is the purview of how you receive that as a kid. My parents are Gen X. They are not workaholics, but they are very efficient, very structurism. Just they do what they're supposed to do for the functionalist purpose of it. They go to work, both of them. My brother goes to work. My sister goes to school. We're a very functionalist family. I think my siblings and I inherit that from our parents. And it's just how your parents are as a people and what the generation was like around them, the culture that grew up with them, is how, kids are taught through their families a lot. And embracing that failure aspect is, say you broke a vase in the house and your mom's reprimanding you and your dad joins in. It's not that they're ganging up on you. It's that both parents are showing you this is what failure is. Now, how are you going to come back from that?
Did you break a vase?
I've never broken a vase. I've broken a vase before. I actually don't think I've broken a vase before. I've broken something. I don't think it was a big vase. Because that's too stereotypical. It's not like me. I would break something like my head or something. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
No. This is it. I broke a wall with my head. That's what it was.
One time, I also broke a wall, but it was because me and my brother were wrestling and I threw him through a wall. I put his butt
your brother through a wall?
I put his butt right through the drywall, and my mom was not happy. In fact,
his butt?
Yeah,
butt first into
the drywall. And she was not happy. In fact, she made me pay it off. I had to repair the wall. But you see, I didn't necessarily fail, but there was a consequence to my action. I had to, not only did I have to pay to get the drywall fixed, but I also had to help fix the drywall. Like, I put the sanding. I sanded it. I put the wood behind it to put the new drywall in place. Like, I had to do it and fix it myself because I broke the wall. It was my responsibility to help get it fixed. So I bought the materials and I fixed the wall. It was a learning moment too because now I know how to fix drywall. But, you know, look, you have siblings too. You fight with them, not like physically, but you play fight.
Here in the Talking Stone podcast, we do not endorse breaking walls. Just a quick disclaimer.
Oh yeah, how'd you break your wall?
So I was carrying a pirate ship up the stairs, a big pirate ship that I was probably like 5 years old or 6 when this happened. And my body is apparently jello because I fell backwards down. I'm talking the entire flight of stairs. They're blessed, they were carpeted. But I put my head through the wall at the bottom of the stairs in our basement at the house. So, there's the struggle of my parents getting the saw to saw around my head to get my head removed.
You were stuck in the wall?
It wasn't all the way, but I definitely put a nice dent in the wall and my head was stuck there for a good second.
And they had to saw you out?
Not entirely, no. That's exaggerated, but it would be funny if it was. What if you had to have your brother's butt sawed out, Scott?
It's not what happened.
That's what I'm picturing right now, that your brother, like Tom and Jerry style, just shh, 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 getting the other side around and just... It's just the idea that I get from that, like, oh, that's funny that we've, both broken walls as,
it happens. Kids are kids, and they're going to make mistakes.
They're going to fail, and they have to learn how to overcome that failure.
The power of gratitude. What does that mean to you?
The power of being thankful. And this is a great topic, actually. Is this the closing point?
This is the last.
This is a great closing point for the Thanksgiving week, guys. Gratitude is something. So my dad was my coach. I'll keep going back to my flag football. We'll stay on that for now. Gratitude is big. My dad was my coach for a lot of my seasons, for a lot of my brother's seasons. And I was never really thankful to him. He was just my dad. I thought he showed up. I thought every dad showed up. I wasn't thinking I'm a kid. I'm like, starting at the age of 5, I did football. Going till 13, I think I played flag football, and we did 3 seasons a year usually. So I did a lot of football, and my dad was a good majority of those coaches. I actually have a wall in my basement with the pictures of our teams, and most of those pictures are my dad is the coach. So I like going down there and looking back on what he's done for me, and then being able to show that now, being able to show that appreciation. I'll fill up the tank of gas for the car. I'll go to the car wash and get his car washed. So I'll come out to a nice clean car. I don't know what he's doing, where he's going, but he'll have a clean car when he does it. And it's just something to show your gratitude. Get him a gift. Remind him that he's loved. Give him a hug. Give your mother a hug. Just your parents are people that usually love you. In the stereotypical family, they love you and they care about you a lot, and they're trying to do what's best for you. And it's a lot to be put through as a parent. I'm an older sibling. I have a younger sister. And I know for even just the little things I do for my sister, I don't expect gratitude, but it's always so appreciated when it comes. When she's thankful that I drive her to school or take her home from school. And I cherish those moments because I'm not home anymore. I'm 5 hours away driving from my house. And Scott, how long is the flight for you?
Well, the flight's about an hour and 15, but I usually take the train or drive. And when I take those modes of transportation, that's about between 9 and 8 hours for the train, and it could be upwards depending on the traffic. Maybe 10 hours, 12 hours by car. It's a little bit of ways.
And the concept of that is, talking about the distance we are from home kind of gives us the perspective of, oh, wow, I miss them now that I'm gone. Never waste a moment to be thankful. Never waste any time you spend with people you love.
Ironic that this is the Thanksgiving episode,
This is
right?
a great episode. This is a great topic to finish on. Yeah. This is warming my heart. No, this is great. I do miss my family a lot. It gives me a lot to be thankful for. And it is great, yeah, to be thankful to show up to my house. I'm going to have a great, Thanksgiving dinner. My granddad will be there. My other grandpa will be there too. And it'll, those are 2 people I don't see very often. My granddad, he lives in West Virginia. It's about 3 hours away from us. So even if I drove the 5 hours home to see my granddad who lives in the mountains, I'd have to drive another 3 hours. And about an hour of that would be in rough terrain. And I'm talking like windy roads, some of them without like line markings. So like no road markings of like where the road is. It's just pavement. Stay on your side and pray the other person coming around the corner is on their side. It can be very sketchy. My mom hates the drive to go to West Virginia.
I'm sure it sounds terrible.
And they're having snow this week.
Like I said in the beginning of this episode, I'm so excited.
Yep.
I love snow. It's my favorite type of weather.
But on the mountains,
it's so brutal and the black ice. Oh my gosh, that's dangerous.
It happens a lot on that road, and a lot of trees fall down on that road. So sometimes people that live on that mountain will be trapped up there for a day or so.
Yeah,
and it can be scary. So when we found out this weather was coming this week, we decided we scrambled, I say, this weekend to get my granddad out of the mountains as quickly as possible because they had already had snow too. They'll start getting snow up there about October, I think, or late October. You'll start seeing flurries, and then through November to probably March, you're going to be seeing snow in West Virginia. So there's a solid, about 6-month period where you could see snow. I'm not guaranteeing this, but you could see it.
Some stuff I'm grateful for is my family. I love them. They support me. I'm grateful for this room, this podcast. Some off and behind the camera, I talk about how I hate this table because it's so awkward to film around. But I'm lucky to have this table, and it's something I'm grateful for. Like, without this table, there would be no podcast. You might be hearing our voices, but you lose a completely different dimension of what makes this place great. And that being said, we've made it to the end. And once again, I'm very grateful for everyone tuning in and staying till the end. And hey, if you're subscribing, even better. If you're liking, great. Comment. Tell me what you're grateful for. I want to know. Tell me your rose, bud, and thorn. I want to know what you're looking forward to. Because this means something to me. And I want to know what means something to you. I've been Scott Iolachi. You can find me at the Talking Stone Podcast everywhere. And
I've been John Silk. You can find me on Instagram at the John Silk, all one word, lowercase. Please.
And I hope you have a great evening, day, or morning. Thank you.